There we go. Go 3, 2, 1. Hello and welcome to another episode of Questlog, the weekly show about video games old and new. My name is Tyler Everett. I am joined, as always, by my good friend Brian Maxwell. How's it going, sir?
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
Oh, I'm just hoping the storm doesn't blow my house down like a big bad wolf or something.
Yeah, there's a ruckus outside.
Yeah. Before I get too carried away in the ruckus, I have a little short story about the ruckus. Luke Phillips, also here.
Hey.
How's it going, man?
Fantastic.
You're my good friend, too. I don't usually, I usually say my good friend Brian Maxwell, and then I'm like, and Luke Phillips is here.
And this other guy's
Well,
here, too.
You guys are both my good friends.
Also Luke.
Yeah. So yeah, it's real windy out, and I was walking my dog just a little while ago, and so between just like the chaos of the rain and the wind that was swirling about at high speeds, there were people doing shenanigans in golf carts down my street, and this is not an uncommon occurrence. Yeah, no, like. There's dynamics here, guys. There's neighborhood dynamics at play. Like, a lot of these people have waterfront property, and so they need golf carts too. I don't really understand it, but it's a bunch of rich kids palling around on golf carts. Okay, so the kids, there's some kind of kerfuffle in the street, and then somebody in a real shitty Geo Metro comes like peeling around the corner and screams "bitch" real loud. And like squeals his tires and almost hits the kids in the golf cart. And I'm walking my dog, and I thought I was gonna have to report a crime. I was gonna have to, like rush somebody to safety. It was weird.
You pull out your phone and start recording?
I pulled out my phone to almost dial 911. I was like, this looks like it's about to be an altercation, and then they sped off, and the kids in the golf cart flipped them the bird and drove away. It mostly settled itself. I didn't have to get involved.
School. Yeah,
it was weird. It was a weird thing to have happen just now. Other weird things are, I feel like I need to bring this forth for Kring, since he can't be here right now, and our friend Vito. McDonald's decided to release the Szechuan sauce today, the Rick and Morty sauce that's been talked about for like a whole season of television. And
since April, right?
They kind of released it, sort of, but like a lot of people didn't get any, it seems. So yeah, that's kind of a bummer, right?
Yeah, like you go from "this is amazing, they're actually doing this, wow" to right. Everyone's pissed about it, no one can get it.
It's like how to light all of your goodwill on fire in an instant. Here's how to do it. Like, do something so cool that you make all these nerds happy, and then just let it flitter away right out of your fingertips.
They really cocked it up.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah, they could have done it for like a month or two and just make it, at least like a temporary item.
These corporations blow my mind. I don't understand. It's like there's a bunch of people screaming and yelling, "Hey, we want you to provide us with this thing," and you have the ability to provide that thing, and you just, I don't know, just shit the bed for no apparent reason. I don't know. Maybe there's a logistics thing involved here.
Vito said it best when he compared it to something Nintendo would do.
Yeah. Hey, here's the thing everybody wants. Oh, we forgot to make any of them or send them to the stores that we said
right.
we would. Like,
I don't know how expensive it is to make a new sauce for a limited run, but gotta think it would have been profitable given, how many people were at all the McDonald's today from what I read.
And think about, Kring posted a picture of it. I don't have it here, but the line was, out the door at 2 p.m. sharp for people showing up.
Some locations got, here's a couple of handfuls.
Right, and most of them didn't get it at all. Yeah.
Wildly underestimated the demand for it, or...
I think there's a very small but very vocal group of people who wanted this.
I don't know, man. I can't think of many other things that would cause people to line up, out the door deep at McDonald's at 2 p.m. on a random Saturday. I don't know. It's weird.
Did they have new chicken tenders too?
Yeah.
Maybe that has something to do with it.
I promise you that no.
Didn't they bring back the McRib? That's what it was.
It was a while ago, I think. I think the McRib.
McRib.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe that's it.
And
barbecue
rib,
bacon
new tender,
burger?
Szechuan sauce.
Western burger? No, that was Burger King.
Hey, you know what? Video games, right?
Old and new.
Yeah, let's talk about those. Here they come. Here's the music.
Rodeo burger. Saved it.
Hey, man. Hey, Brian.
Hey, Tyler.
Hey. I hear you went and spent some money at a GameStop on some used games.
I did.
Yeah.
They had their buy two get one free.
That's a good deal.
If you're a member of the Power Up Rewards Club.
Oh yeah.
Like I am, very exclusive club.
Step your game up.
Yeah, so I bought two and I got one free.
I hear you got Dark Souls 3. That sounds like a great video game that that you would really enjoy.
I did. I am so drawn to those games. They're Alan Wake and Mall Pizza all over again.
The Sbarros, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I put that in and installed it and updated it and played it for about 15 minutes and said, "What the fuck am I doing this for? I hate this."
I don't understand. Didn't you pick up Bloodborne for your PS4 not that long ago? Did you do that with that game too?
I got a few hours in.
You played it once or twice, literally.
And what was that 2D Dark Souls you played earlier this year?
Salt and Sanctuary. That's my Dark Souls. I loved Salt and Sanctuary.
It's the same thing.
I think we're stumbling upon something here. Is that Brian doesn't really care for 3D games where you have combat.
Yeah.
I
yeah.
think there's a thing happening with that.
That's a big ask, Tyler.
Real-time combat plus a 3D, third-person camera seems to be
the controls
a big
in
lose.
Dark Souls are kind of deliberate. They're slow and kludgy.
They're a little funky.
I sunk 40 or 50 hours into Nier, and that's third person, or that's 3D combat, but it's very fast.
Right. Yeah, Nier is much more actiony.
Yeah, I went out and fought some things, and there were a couple instances where it's like, okay, I feel like I parried. I don't know why I didn't parry. I thought I hit the button press at just the right time, but now I'm dead. And I did that 2 or 3 times. And
there is from what I understand, it's you have to put the time in to learn all of the timing and all of the the whatnot. It's a long road.
I love the aesthetic. I love the look of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's got a real gothic, everything sucks kind of look to it.
Yeah.
It's like a Darkest Dungeon vibe. Very dark and grim.
The theme of it, yeah, I see what you're saying, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I took that back.
So that's
gone. That back,
All right, I'm going to close this.
That's
all we need to say.
7-day return exchange policy.
Yeah. I don't blame you. That's pretty good though. On used games, you can just swap them out, huh?
I can just go back there and I went back and I said, can you guys take a picture of me and put it behind the counter and say, "Do not sell Dark Souls games to this man."
That's funny. Did they get a kick out of that?
Yeah.
That's pretty good
Salt
stuff,
and Sanctuary. Man. That was my Dark Souls.
Gotcha. Well, why don't you tell us about one, I'll let you pick, that you did play and you did like instead?
How about Battle Chasers?
Yeah.
Night War.
Oh, yeah. Hold on, let me turn the music down a little. There we go. Yeah, chasing some battles, huh? And
that's a
war.
Good old-fashioned turn-based JRPG type game. The look and feel of it's very, very much like Torchlight.
Yeah, I can see that.
Right, it's that style of animation. Doesn't really do anything innovative. It just does all the old JRPG stuff that you would expect. It's turn-based combat. You've got skill trees and equipment and crafting and all that good stuff. It just does it all really, really well. I think it's based on a comic comic series or
I
a
hear
graphic novel from maybe, I don't know, the 90s, I want to say.
Okay, that's cool. It seems like I want to say I remember that the art is by the same guy who's responsible for the Darksiders series. Does that
Yeah, I
sound
think
right?
I think so.
Which
And
is I'm way into.
it
That's
looks it.
yeah, it has that same look. Everybody's got big giant hands and
Right.
tree trunk necks and
Yeah, the girl's wearing gauntlets bigger than her head.
yeah, yeah. It's cool though. It's got a real neat stylized look. That's good, man.
Yeah,
I know this is coming for the Switch, but I think it
Switch.
got
Yep,
delayed. I think it got kicked back to December.
I
So
think so.
that's a bummer because this is gonna get old. We should sound clip this and put music with it. But more good games for the Switch is something that we're definitely hurting for. So
I was watching a bit of Battle Chasers on Twitch earlier today, and I was thinking, man, this would be just a really fun game on the go, like a light version on mobile phone or something. But yeah, on Switch it would be really, really fantastic.
yeah, so it's good
Yeah.
that it's coming, but I feel like Nintendo's really just. I
A
don't
lot
know.
of them
I
are
mean,
so
maybe it's not
delayed.
Nintendo. Maybe it's not Nintendo. Maybe there is, because there's difficulties getting stuff to work. I'll have something to say about that in just a minute. With the Switch ports, because a lot of them seem to be
Seems
getting
like
pushed back.
Yeah, it seems like
Delayed.
there's a lot of games that'll release on other platforms first, and then on the Switch like 4 months later.
Now, it being a new platform, and I'm sure the porting process is still, there's got to be a learning curve to it. I'm assuming in the future that will probably be smoothed out a lot more, but this is their first time seeing,
So
the dev tools for the Switch and everything. So
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think that's probably something that will get better with time.
yeah.
I don't know. Do you think it's I don't know what to say. Do you think it's something that I could get into, Brian? You know me well enough. I think it looks
I
cool.
don't
It looks
know
real
how you
pretty.
feel about turn-based combat.
I like it. I like it sometimes.
Well, then I think so. Like you've got a
Yeah.
party of 6 people, or at least I've
Okay.
got 6 people at the moment that you can swap out. You can have 3 at any given time. You've got some dungeons on the map. There's an overworld map. There's a lot of little hidden secrets and things to find. I sent you a screenshot. Like there was a place I found. There was a cave where I killed a big old fire elemental.
Yeah.
And I took its core and I used it to like relight this forge and enchant my equipment with fire upgrades. And I figured that would get your attention.
It did. Yep.
One thing I don't care for, you've got party members that sit on the bench and wait. Like you pick your 3 and you head out. The ones that are sitting and waiting aren't gaining any XP, which logically is great, but I feel like I don't want anyone to fall behind. So I'm always taking my weakest ones out. And there have been a couple of times where it's like I really need my strongest people here, but if I take my strongest people here, my weak people will continue to fall behind.
That is the thing that has always been a I don't know. It
Yeah.
seems to be a staple of
It's a
the
thorn in my
series.
side.
Yeah, I remember playing Final Fantasy VII and feeling the same way. Like, I guess I. Right before I knew, I was like, yeah, I need to really level up Eris and get her,
Yeah.
get her,
Make sure she's buff.
get her strong, and then oh shit,
Well,
something
I've
bad happens. Spoilers.
played games where your people who are not in the action will get like 2/3 of the XP or something like that. That doesn't
Yeah.
make any sense, but I'm fine with that.
Right.
Have them be just a little bit behind.
I would end up taking the same 3 people with me for the entirety of the game.
Right,
That's
and
what I would end up doing.
I like to try different characters and new skills and everything. So the game can be a little bit grindy. There are dungeons in the game, and the dungeons have 3 difficulty settings. Like after you beat a dungeon, you can go back and beat it on legendary. So that's what I started doing when I wasn't strong enough. I would just go to a dungeon I'd cleared and go in on legendary.
Gotcha.
And it had kind of changed up a little bit. There were new rewards and some new rooms, and
Cool.
so I enjoy the combat and the gameplay. It's grindy, but that's kind of part of the JRPG experience, and the combat's fun, so I didn't mind it.
That's it. Not to keep hammering the Switch thing, but a grindy game isn't so bad if it's something that you can pick up and Okay, I'll play 2
Right.
rooms of this dungeon
15
and then
minutes at a
lock
time.
the screen and
Yep.
go back to doing something else and pick it up again.
And instantly
Right.
go back to where you were.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, hey, that's a good segue. I can talk about a little game. I don't know if you guys heard this one before. It's called Stardew Valley.
One of Questlog's favorites.
Yeah, so they released Stardew Valley on the Nintendo Switch on yesterday, the 5th, 2 days ago.
And the way they did it was surprising because I think it was on the 1st. They were like, all right, we've got a release date, and it's Thursday.
Yeah, yep, that gave
Give
me
me more of that. I love that. I like that.
That gave me a lot of hope for Hollow Knight, that we might just wake up one day and have Hollow Knight on the Switch. But
Surprise!
yeah, but yeah, I played a little bit of Stardew Valley back on the PC when this was first released. I picked it up mostly out of excitement. Like Brian, you were real stoked about it at the time, and I was kind of like, oh, this seems all right. Seems like something worth a try. I was impressed that one dude, started a game company and made this game entirely by himself. I thought that was just really, really something neat. So
It's a labor of love.
yeah. So yeah, I picked it up again, and I think I'm kind of slowly starting to fall back in love with it. I'm still bad at it. I'm a shitty little virtual farmer.
Right.
But,
You don't want to farm. You want to go into the mines and have adventure, right?
I do, but I feel like I need money to do that.
Gotta farm.
Probably.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
gotta get some crops and some things to have energy and all that stuff. So, and it's funny
To
because every
save
time
the mines for the rainy days.
yeah, rainy days.
Don't have to water your crops.
That's good. Hey, there you go. Stardew Valley
Into the
pro
mines.
tips right there. And they call it a mine. I have a question. I'm watching Cat gameplay right now. This isn't mine. What is the purpose of the little fire pit in the middle of your crops there? What does that do?
It just provides light when it gets dark. It doesn't really do anything other than
okay.
you can see at night.
Okay.
It's fire, Tyler.
So you're not just watering your dirt, I got it. That makes sense.
Right.
Well, cool. So yeah, I'm gonna play more of that. I wanna put more time into it than I have in the past, and I think being able to do that on the go is gonna be exactly what allows me to do that. So.
Yeah,
How does
seems
it
like a
play
great
on the
fit.
Switch? Is there any
Thank you for reminding me. Yes.
issues with it?
Almost none. It plays really, like, the controls feel really solid. The frame rate looks good. The only thing I would say is that the controls are not super intuitive. They don't tell you that, like, X will back you out of a letter that you're reading or something. There's things that you can do to help yourself, like turning on the item placement in the game's menu. So it'll do a little highlight. You can see on Cat's video here. I think it shows like where you're going to place something on the ground. There's a tooltip thing that you can turn on to make it so that you'll see where your axe or pickaxe or whatever is going to hit the ground. That's all definitely recommended. I still don't know how to run. There's a way to run, I think, and you use more energy when you run, but
There's
I don't seem to be able
at
to
least
do
on
that.
every other platform, there is an option in one of the menus. It's just like a toggle. You just check the always run box.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to do anything.
Oh,
So I don't know if that's a bug or what, but I'll have to look into that a little bit more. But the big thing is, anytime the game is saving, which happens every time you go to sleep at night, it takes about a full minute to do that. And so you're just staring at a black screen. That doesn't sound like much, but to be sitting there for 60 seconds in a game that, is all 2D sprites, it seems really strange that it would take that long to save.
hopefully they optimize that.
Yeah,
Maybe they
needs to
figure
be-
out
yeah.
something.
It's a small complaint. It's not, it's not game breaking or anything, but it is something I noticed. And they even changed the text. It's like, it says saving. This could take a very long time. Don't turn off the console or, lose power basically, even if the screen is still. And it's like, it hits that mark where you're at about like 45 seconds. You're like,
Everything okay?
Did it lock up? Like, what's going on? And this is like another 10 seconds. You're like, okay, something's definitely wrong. And then it finally finishes. So,
Yeah, we just bought it on the Switch tonight. Bought it for the 4th time.
yep. I said it earlier today. It's like, yeah, you're $60 in on a game that you've gotten hundreds of hours of gameplay out of. So I think you're,
Still doing pretty
Between
good.
me and Kat, we've probably got over 400 hours into this.
yeah. Yep. I wouldn't be surprised if that number's probably higher actually, but
Very well might be.
yeah. So I bought it
Question.
twice now too. So there you go. Yes, Luke Phillips.
How much is it on the Switch?
$15.
Yep. No Switch
That's
tags.
the same price as on Steam.
Yep, and that is another thing that informed my buying decision. I was happy to see that they didn't jack up the price.
Yeah,
just 'cause it's on
I'm
the
glad
Switch.
that's not an all the time thing. I saw Axiom Verge just launched, and that's $19.99, which I think is the same as on PC as well. So
Yeah, $20 for those graphics. It's a steep price, but it is the same. There you go. It gives me hope because I know we were all assuming that Hollow Knight was going to be jacked up, and it looks like that's probably not the case. So
yeah,
that's good stuff, man.
I can't tell if I want to get Stardew Valley on the Switch as well. So it didn't really hit home for me too much on PC. But if they're going to add multiplayer to it, I'm going to want to do multiplayer on PC.
Right. We also already have it on PC.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So might just hold off.
Yeah, the whole let's all run a farm together thing does seem kind of cool. Like we could
I
just
really,
log in and
really,
each
really
take
want to do
turns,
that.
yeah.
Watering each other's crops and taking little trips into the mine together. That sounds like it would be pretty cool.
Trips to the mine together.
Yeah,
Aw.
in the weird woods, in the weird mines.
What
Yeah,
a lovely afternoon.
I don't know about you, Luke, but when I part of the reason I don't think I stuck with it the first time was when I sit down at my PC, I'm usually trying to I'm trying to get a certain experience. Like I'm trying to either find something exciting or I don't play Heroes because I want to get that adrenaline.
Adrenaline. Yeah.
Or I'll play some action game or whatever, right? Stardew Valley is not about that. That's not what the game is designed for.
It's comfort gaming.
Yeah, and so I don't know. I think having it on the go and being able to just I'll sit on my couch and play this for a little bit, get a little bit further, lock the screen, set it down, come back an hour or two later, pick up exactly where I left off. I think I'll be able to get a lot more done and not feel like I'm missing out on the other types of gaming that I would do. So,
I hope they have a way to do a dedicated server when multiplayer comes out.
Oh, right. So we could have a don't starve together type thing going on.
Yeah, like a server that runs 24/7 that anyone can just hop in and out of.
My gut tells me that probably isn't a thing, but I'm hopeful like you. That would be cool.
Yeah.
Was supposed to be out early 2018, I think.
Yeah, that's the last I heard.
Still got a few months easily.
Yeah. Well, we mentioned Hollow Knight a second ago, and boy, I sure did play a lot of Hollow Knight, and I think you did too, Luke.
I played a bit. I dabbled today.
Yeah, you picked it up
Yeah,
today.
you kind of went all in, Tyler. There was at least a couple of nights the last few weeks where you're like, I stayed up way too late last night, post 3 a.m.
Most nights, yes.
I wake up and I see you posting screenshots at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, and that's when I'm like, man, I really should go to bed, and then I'm like, well,
After I
20
find the
more
next bench, for
minutes.
sure.
Yeah, yep. So I mean, I've talked at length about it. You have too, Brian. What do you think, Luke? You're the first. This is the first time you've got to get your hands on it after we've hyped it up endlessly.
Well,
Sucks. 2 thumbs down.
no, for what it is, it does it really, really well. It took me, I'll say, 15, 20 minutes or so to kind of get a feel for the game and how the guy moves. The controls are completely solid. You have really good control over them, even jumping, which is very nice coming from Super Metroid, to where it feels very clunky.
Yeah.
One downside is I really wanted to use my Switch Pro controller. Just would not recognize it at all, which I know is a hit or miss thing for PC. I could get that to work in an emulator just fine, but not through Steam. So I did find a program that I could remap some keys and get it to work, but I just haven't done that yet. So I was using a cheapo Logitech controller, which worked fine. But yeah, atmosphere is awesome. Music is awesome. It's weird. Yeah, I think I'll probably keep at it a little bit.
I was at this weird place for a while where I was trying to decide, like, okay, well, I'm gonna dip my toes in this, and I don't want to get too invested because
Just the tip.
yup. And
It's never just the tip.
it's never
Go
just
on.
the tip. Yeah,
No.
yeah. That's a good way to put it, Brian. You're
I'm a
the
real
way with
wordsmith.
words. Yeah, yep. And yeah, I'm way into this. So now I've pretty much just accepted that I'm gonna play this through and probably get as close to 100%ing the game as I can. And if it comes out on the Switch, I will buy it there too, and probably do the same thing there because I absolutely love this game. It's I
Yeah, it
don't
was
know, man.
$15 on PCs. I was like, yeah, whatever. I'll spend that in a couple of hours, check it out, and I could see myself getting it on Switch as well.
Like we said before, there's more DLC coming. There's some coming at the end of the month for Halloween, and then there's like bigger DLC packs planned after that too. So,
Do we know if the Switch version is going to have all those included?
yep,
It is?
it will. It will get all of the same free DLC, and a lot of it will be available at launch. They said. So right now, I think they've released one called Hidden Dreams, and I think the next one is called shoot, I can't remember.
I don't remember the name, but it's for Halloween.
It's the Halloween one, yeah. Yep. So
This game does the carrot and stick thing really well. Like there's always something to find. There's always, you want to find a map for the new area, or you want to find the bench in the area, or you just got a power up and you can go somewhere new. Like there's always something to do, and all the time I spent a lot of time exploring and just looking for, like where to go next. I never got bored because I loved the world so much. I don't mind just walking around.
Yeah, I'm
And
looking
there's-
for my my space jump and my wall climb and my charge beam and plasma gun. Where's all that at?
I gotta go back.
Where's your
to
morph
whatever-
ball?
Yeah. There's so many cool things you get like that though, Luke. I was getting excited thinking about this because you are like me and are a big Mega Man X fan. And pretty early on, you get a dash ability that is almost identical to the Mega Man
Nice.
X dash, and you can use it in the air as well. And then you also get the same kind of like wall jump and slide mechanic. So like
Okay.
when you kind of stick and grip to a wall and slide down it as you get close to it, and then you can hop up it too.
That's cool.
It's really well
You
done.
feel-
It feels super.
You feel very mobile.
Yep.
So really, they combine some of the best features of two of the best NES games.
Yup. Yeah, and there's still callbacks to Zelda 2 that I can feel very, very clearly through this. So it's like it's hitting that Zelda 2 itch for me. It's hitting the stuff I liked about the Mega Man series. Like it's very, very.
It's
well
very
done.
strongly reminiscent of Salt and Sanctuary for me, and just the open world, and you've got the bosses that are just kind of littered around everywhere. Some of them are optional.
Yeah, I fought False Knight today,
Yep.
Mhm.
It's one of
and
the
that
first ones.
was a fun and challenging fight. It kept me on my toes without being just dying over and over again.
That sums up most of the game for me. The challenge level seems to be just about right. It's tough, but I think there's only one boss I ever encountered where I had to, just quit and come back the next day. I died probably 7 or 8 times, maybe more. Just like, it's not happening tonight.
The game does some cool stuff too. Like I had fought
Fighted
a couple. Yeah, I fighted them. I've been through a few bosses, and I was in a new zone, and I got to another one, and I was trying to learn this guy's pattern, and he had this like downward slam ability that he was telegraphing pretty clearly, and so I was like, oh, no problem. I'll just I'll wait for him to start to do that. I'll dodge out of the way and
Dash
then
out
go
of
back
the
to
way.
hit him. And he did a fake out. He did he half did it and then teleported again and did it again. So it was like it plays a little bit with your expectations in ways that are kind of fun. I remember coming across one of the benches and it's smashed in half, and there was just this feeling like, oh,
Yeah, it was a real bummer.
shit.
Like, you got cheated.
Oh, I found the bench and it's gone. Oh, what am I gonna do now? And like there was another one not far from there, but like it does this whole storytelling through the environment really well. That's something that
Yeah.
it's so hard to put your finger on.
You fought the Mantis Lords,
Yeah.
didn't you?
Yeah,
That was a memorable one. That was a real good one.
yeah. There's a part where, I mean, not to spoil too much. It's not really spoilers. There's lots of bosses in this game that you'll encounter, but there's other bugs that are not hostile to you that will give you kind of tips and some kind of different interactions. And I remember coming across a bug named Quirrell, like squirrel, but just with the Q. And he was like, "Oh, hey, if you're planning on going down there to challenge the Mantis Lords, I don't know if I would do that if I were you." He was kind of foreshadowing that might not be a great idea yet. So I kept that in my mind. And the other night I went to explore a new area and kind of got my ass kicked and was like, you know what, I'll just go explore some of the other places that I've turned away from now that I have some new powers to try out. And so I decided to go try to fight those Mantis Lords, and that was a cool fight. Like you said, Brian, you kind of same thing. Like you get the idea of how this fight goes. You fight one of them, and then it throws two of them at you, and they're both doing the same things and using stuff in tandem and in unison.
It's very busy.
It was very challenging. A lot of times you're really stressed out. Like you take a couple cheap hits, and you're like, okay, no big deal. I'll go to try to heal in the corner, and then something will hit you again. And you start panicking because you're like, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to find a safe time to charge myself up and heal. There's a lot of really tense moments that this game throws at you.
I think there's a charm that shortens your heal time, but I don't think I ever found it.
Oh, yeah, I might look for that because
That would be useful.
there's
sounds good.
there's one that gives you like a little carapace shield that comes around you while you're channeling that, and it seems to at least absorb the damage from it. So if you get hit while you're doing that, it doesn't, it doesn't hurt you more. It just this shield will absorb a lot of that, but it can break too. So like if you take too much damage, then it doesn't really help you. But I've been using that one a lot for boss fights because healing is very important.
Mm-hmm.
So, but man, I can't say enough about how addicted to this game is. I love the whole art style and everything. I've been doodling the night on my papers and stuff at work, and just
You have some really good wallpapers for your phone too, didn't you?
those are just screenshots that I took while I was in game and turned them into
It's a beautiful game.
stuff. Yeah, it's real well done. Hollow Knight, get after it, get it while it's hot, get it while it's good.
$15, you really can't beat that price.
You said you found Deep Nest today, and you weren't
Shit, I
real
forgot.
fond of that place.
Yeah, it was today too because it was.
I think so.
It was early this morning. Yeah, after the Mantis Lords, I got to go in there and oh my god, yeah. So I was.
It's a nightmare. Yep.
I was feeling real tired and I was feeling real kind of like groggy and not really with it. And then it stuck me in a place that's like made of bugs that are just writhing and swirling around, and all you can hear is just this like this terrible, grossness. And then all of a sudden, like giant centipede things go across the screen, like burrowing and eating their way through the bullshit. And little grubs are wiggling up out of the ground and coming after you. It's bad. It's bad news.
That sounds terrifying.
It is. And then they even have this effect that like on the screen, like a little black thing will go across
Like
the
an
screen,
overlay?
like
Yep.
in front of you. And so it looks
Yeah.
like it's on your monitor. It's bad news. It's real bad news.
All right. Hollow Knight, don't get it.
Yeah. If you got a little insectophobia, then you might have a hard time with it. But no, man, it just speaks to how well the atmosphere and sound design and everything all meshes together. Like there's so many unique zones, there's so many different things going on. It's we're gonna do a Game of the Year show, and so far, I don't want to spoil anything, but it's gonna be high up there on my list for sure. So anyway, let's keep this rolling with cool art styles and whatnot. And Brian, tell us about Cuphead.
Yeah, I plundered Cuphead from Kring's library. My oldest, my 10-year-old, like the other day, she was like, "Dad, what's Cuphead? Do you know what Cuphead is? Can we get that?" Because she watches YouTubers and streamers, and this is very popular right now.
Mm-hmm. It's very popular. Like the Wall Street Journal's writing about it. There's like interviews.
All
with
the Muggles are
devs
talking about it.
The
Yeah.
Muggles, yeah. It seems to be a bona fide hit. In the regular media too.
Yep.
Yeah. So sorry, continue. Yeah.
It's super well done. like everyone said, it really nails the 1930s animation thing. Like it's got, hisses and pops in the sound, and you've got like scratches and lines running down the screen like it's old film that you're watching on a projector. Like the aesthetic was really, like, they really nailed what they were going for. I'm not especially a huge fan of it, but it's really, really well done.
They really achieved what they set out to do.
Yes,
So,
it's very impressive.
Like Kring said last week, it's pretty much a boss rush game with a few run and gun levels peppered in.
Yeah, the run and gun levels feel like an afterthought a little bit. I think it's because they were. The boss battles are cool.
Yeah, that's definitely the core of the game.
So, you seem to be really taking it to this carrot. Is it is the difficulty as harsh as some of the criticism so far?
Yeah, I think it is. Like all the boss battles you can do on either simple or regular mode. I played with my kids a lot this morning, and I did them all on simple.
Right.
Then I came back and tried them on regular later, and the challenge is definitely there. Like the first couple of bosses, I can beat them up on regular pretty easily, but then it starts ramping up. It's frustrating that you don't get to see the boss's health, but after you die, then it shows a little like progress meter for how close you came to killing it, and that's a good motivator for, I made it further than last time, or I was right there, I'm gonna try it again.
Gotcha. That's cool. Man, like everything right down to the fonts and like the the look of all of the menus and things is just spot on. It's
all spot on. Said I'm not in love with it, but I'm glad it exists, and I think it's a very cool thing. All three of my kids played it a lot today. Like there's a co-op mode that you can play, and my kids, who are 10, 6, and 4, all spent quite a bit of time with it.
That's pretty cool.
How does the co-op mode work?
It's all the same. Like everything's the same, just you got 2 people on screen. I'm not sure if the difficulty is adjusted for it or not. You can resurrect the person. Like when you die, your ghost goes up in the air, and if they jump up and hit you, they get rezzed with 1 hit point.
Were they able to take down some of the bosses and stuff?
No.
Yeah. That's what I was
No,
like.
I had to help, but they had fun, and even my boy, who gets very easily frustrated, didn't really have, like, he didn't get upset with it, which I was impressed with, because I was like, I'm just asking for trouble. Here, kid, take a game that pisses everyone off.
Yeah.
Have fun.
It's neat that it's cool that they can still have fun with it, because I know that has been a worry, I think, of a lot of people reporting that the game's so hard, is that like people are gonna see this thing that looks like a Disney cartoon and think like, this is a cool kids game, this is a family game that we can all play, and then get it and go, this is the hardest thing, like none of us can beat it, and feel real bamboozled by it.
Well, I feel like all the talk about it, like, people kind of have to know that going in. That's a pretty big part of the game's reputation.
Well, and I remember, Mega Man 2 is still considered one of the hardest 2D platform, remove platformer or shooter out of it, like it's considered one of the harder games. And I played the crap out of those Mega Man games when I was a kid.
Yeah, me too.
So
Mega Man 2 was my bitch.
Yep.
Wouldn't be today if I picked it up, I'm sure, but at the time.
Watching a streamer play this last weekend, and some of the later bosses are really, really challenging. And he would die 10, 15 times on a boss and just keep going right back into it. And he's like, talking to Chad, he's like, I'm not raging at all because this game is just so fun and so well done. Like, I don't mind dying because I'm just going to hop right back into it, and it's just a blast to play. So even though you are dying, it's just a fun game.
That's cool. And I'm guessing that you don't really lose anything. You don't really, there's no progression lost when you die, other than you got to start over.
Nope.
That's cool. That way you're not,
And it's not like you're playing a stage and getting to the boss and fighting it. It's just the boss fight.
That's cool. These bugs are smoking and stuff in the background. That's so cool. Man. Well, I gotta try this.
It's an impressive thing.
I'm gonna check this out as soon as I can. As soon as I
There's
can pry myself away from Hollow Knight.
there's one boss fight that is a cigar that you have to fight, and it's just real 1930s and 40s. It's just perfect.
That's cool.
It's the animated cigar that you're fighting.
It's I heard someone else say this. It's like it's the best part of that animation without the overt racism. Because boy, those little cartoons were real racist. So that's neat.
Yeah, but they do go through and kind of, like especially smoking. Like you can see here, everyone smokes in the background, and
Yeah.
that's all still in there though.
Yeah.
So it's true to that theme at least.
Yeah. That's cool. I appreciate that. 9 out of 10 doctors recommend Lucky Strike.
Nice.
That's good stuff, guys. Man, there's another one in here, Brian, that has a real weird name.
Yeah.
What you got to tell me about 9? Hold on, I'll get this. 9 hours, 9 persons, 9 doors.
Yeah, so when I traded in Dark Souls 3, I traded him for a PS4 title called the Nonary Games, which is a compilation of 2 games that were released on the DS years ago. The first one being this one, the 9 doors, 9 people, 9 hours. Yeah, that.
Hold on. It's called 9 hours, 9 persons, 9 doors.
Yeah, that's what I said. It's real anime as you can see.
So far, I just see.
It's just water so far.
Yeah, that's just water.
So it's a story-heavy game with some puzzles in it, where you're a person who has been kidnapped, and you wake up on a ship with 8 other people who have also been kidnapped and placed there, and it's sort of a Saw kind of a scenario, where someone's like, "Hey, there's a way to get off of this ship. Good luck. You've got 9 hours to get out." And everyone's got a numbered bracelet on them, and there are doors with numbers on them, and there are ways that you have to use the numbers in the bracelet to get through the doors, but people who don't get through the doors are going to die. So there's a lot of we have to get through these doors, but we can't all get through stuff going on, and I think there end up being alternate timelines and alternate realities and all the anime things.
Okay.
I think it's a game that me and Kat are going to play through together, because she has more patience for the puzzles than I do. But she's like, I can't choose who dies. I'm like, give me the controller. I got this.
Okay. I'm gonna ask a question, and I don't want this to sound judgmental, but is this whole thing is it all just text on a background? Is that what we're seeing here? Or is this just is there actual animation happening and people moving and stuff?
I think what I found might have been DS footage.
Oh, okay.
No, there are people.
Okay.
And there are puzzles to solve. There are quite a few puzzles to solve. Yeah, I think this is the DS stuff we're looking at, so it's a little bit less animated.
Okay, gotcha. Interesting. Okay.
So yeah, there's a lot of tension.
The setup sounds neat. Like that whole,
I'm curious to see where it goes.
The biggest thing that sucks about games like this is the ending. Well, not games like this, but stories like this is usually there's some revelation that nobody really had to die.
Right.
That's the little knife twist that they
you
apply there.
That?
If you would have just been smarter, you could have saved those people too, dummy. I'm not saying that that's necessarily what they're going to do here, but I'm usually cautious of that right off the rip. There's probably something that I'm missing here that I'm supposed to be missing. But
some of the puzzles are very mathy with the doors. The doors each have a number 1 through 9 on them, and you've got the bracelets. God, what's it called? You've got to find the digital root of a number. So, if you add 6, 7, and 8 together, That's what, 21,
Yeah,
right?
you got it.
And then you add 2 and 1 together to get 3. Like you keep adding until you're down to a single digit.
Yeah, that sounds right. The math checks out. I just looked.
So that's how you've got to get through the doors. It's like 3 to 5 people per door.
Neat. I would not. I
they
would
did
not
the
get out
math.
of these doors. I would be stuck in
You
these
wouldn't
doors.
make it out.
Nope.
You'd drown, huh?
I would be dead. Not the math
So,
guy.
yep, this is the first game. The second one's on the same disc, and then there's a third one out there.
It's called 27 Doors, 27 Hours, 27 People. That's cool. It's a twofer. It's a multi game. It's neat. It's like the Orange Box, only for anime math games. Oh
Nailed
man. Nailed it. It's
Anime
like
math games is basically my nightmares.
It's the 2D. It's a 2D Orange Box, basically. Well,
So is there
stuff.
a 2D portal in there somewhere?
I mean, he said
haven't
there's
found
like
it yet.
time travel and shit. Like, I don't know. Maybe one of them doors is to a portal. Who knows? There's no way to know.
Spoilers.
Well, there's only one way to know about the news, and that's if I give it to you, and I'm gonna give it to
Heyo.
you like this. It's coming. Don't worry. Here it comes. There it is. See? Now it's news time. Hey! If you haven't seen me on BattleNet this week, it's because I can appear offline, and you're never gonna see me again. Goodbye. Now, BattleNet, they added a new option into the Blizzard app, and you can now appear offline. And people calling in sick to play the new World of Warcraft expansion all rejoice simultaneously. Yay!
I saw Tyler today. Not at work.
That's right. No, it's good. They've been dangling this carrot in front of everybody for like 10 years or something, it seems like. I don't know.
I've never had a need for this.
I haven't either.
But at the same time, I'm also like, why wasn't this included at release? This seems like such a basic feature.
They originally the argument was like, well, if we let you appear offline and then you're standing at the auction house and your guildmate walks up to you, they're gonna see you offline, but they're gonna see you standing there.
It's going to be weird.
That'll be weird, right?
What it?
And I think they finally just realized, like, I don't think anyone's
We're all
worried about that
antisocial,
anymore.
we all get it.
Like, yeah, what we're worried about is you're appearing offline and you want to just go, kill some stuff in Diablo 3 for a while, and your guildmates are all like, it's raid time, come on, where are you? We need our tank. And you're like, I just don't want to do that, and I don't want to have to deny that. I don't want to have to be the guy that's like ruining the night if I want to just be selfish and play Diablo 3. So that's what it's there for, and it works pretty well. I tested it out. I've got the beta running on my computer, and
Yeah, witness.
From the world.
You disappeared.
Disappeared right in front of everybody.
You are not on my friends list.
Yep. And I may never.
The only time
return.
I've ever
In
used
fact,
this feature in Steam was when
Me not.
someone was messaging me that I didn't want to talk to.
Oh, there you go.
I was like, oh, nope, I'm offline.
Bloop. We'll
Okay,
see
thanks,
your
bye.
messages later. They added that too, so like you can send somebody a message and they'll get it the next time that they log in. This also came with a slew of extra social features, so it seems like they're trying to integrate a Discord-like service right into BattleNet, where you can set up a group and then set up rooms within that group. So you can have your
And branch off. Yeah.
your quest log group, and then we can have a Destiny 2 room and a Heroes room, and all those things going all at once there. Pretty neat. So yeah, you can get that right now. If you have the latest version of the Blizzard app, you just have to go into the settings, and there's a tab for betas. You just turn that on and restart the app, and you're good to go. There you go.
Disappear Offline came out just in time for Destiny 2.
There you go. Yep. So get it while it's hot.
When
Hey,
does that come out? 24th?
Destiny
Or
2?
is it earlier than that?
Destiny 2 PC. I thought it was something like the 30th, but I could be wrong.
I thought it was before Mario. I
Hmm.
think Brian is closer to being accurate.
Let's find out, shall we? Destiny 2 PC release date is not in the first paragraph of the fucking article that I clicked.
The tension's
The
killing me.
24th. There you go.
Nailed it.
24th.
The one in the room who doesn't give a shit about Destiny.
The only reason that it's not like seared into my mind is that I have Shadow of War on the brain, which is a perfect segue for our next story about Shadow of War DLC. Shadow of War comes out on Tuesday, and I'm going to be putting my full attention on that when that happens. So hey, there was some controversial DLC tied to Shadow of War. It was a kind of neat thing. They did a little tribute to one of the producers who died during development. He lost his battle with cancer, so they decided to immortalize him in the game with this, like, you know, pale-skinned orc guy with a beard that kind of looks vaguely like him, who carries around a big loot axe. It's kind of goofy and whatever, but they were going to donate all the proceeds from that DLC to the family. There was some controversy over it because there was, like, you know, the small print was, hey, in zones that, regions and stuff where we can't donate this money, it obviously won't be donated, but they were still going to sell it there. So some people, I think rightfully so, took issue with that, and they have decided to make that DLC available free to everyone and instead choose to just make a one-time donation to the family. So,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Seems like silly controversy.
It's a bummer because I feel like there was the potential for probably more money to be made through this by people buying this thinking that they were doing something for a good cause. But I do see the, you know, the trouble with, like, oh, I'm in Croatia and I'm buying this DLC and I'm trying to do the right thing, and then find out in the small print that it's not going to the family. It's
I think
just
as long
going
as
to the
they
company.
were very, very upfront about it, it would have been fine, because it's not like they're choosing to keep the money in those locations. It's just, you know, I'm sure there were legal reasons why they
Yeah, it's
could not
just
donate.
Right.
stupid laws.
You know,
And then
And-
my understanding is they were very upfront about everything.
right?
Yeah, I mean, the people, I don't think, if the people who took issue with it, I don't think put themselves in their shoes. Like, so what do? So you say, okay, well, it's free for the people in the regions where we can't donate the money. So then you're locking this thing behind a paywall for everyone else then. It's just this, it would be this weird thing. So I think they probably came to the right conclusion in the end to just take a big old chunk of money and send it to that family and make this a free thing that's just kind of a cool tribute to him in the game. So, yeah, there you go. Just side note, I'm friggin' stoked for this game. It's
You got to
getting.
finish Hollow Knight, Tyler.
I don't have to do jack.
You
shit,
have to finish
Brian.
Hollow Knight. I don't want
don't
to see you
have to.
going to bed after this. You need to stay up and finish Hollow Knight.
I've got like 72 hours. I need to finish it. No, I'm. Yeah, I hear you, Brian, but
Get some monsters, get some Pop-Tarts.
yeah, I can get XP for Destiny 2
Yeah, there you
while
go.
I'm prepping for
Get some
Shadow of War.
Doritos. You
Just
big
build a
fucking dork.
target. I'm sure they have a little end cap with whatever you need.
Oh,
Doritos,
your
Mountain
gamer
Dew,
fuel right there.
Pop
Yeah.
Tarts.
Yeah, basement
Hot Pocket
decorating
Coke.
guides. You know, Cheetos dust removal wipes. I'm sure it's all right there.
Wrist brace. Yep.
Just embrace it. Well, the last little thing of news, this one brings me so much joy. Hey, Wolfenstein 2 is coming out soon, guys. Oh shit, autoplay videos, you bastard. Sorry. This thing decided to autoplay, and that is the worst thing in the world. Anyway, Wolfenstein 2 is coming out, and they released this ad campaign called Make America Nazi Free Again. And it turns out American Nazis don't love that slogan.
Sucks
Aw,
to
Is
be
it a
them.
safe space?
isn't that
Are their feelings
terrible?
hurt?
Yeah, the bunch of Nazi snowflakes don't love the idea that we are, you know, politicizing a game about killing Nazis. It's weird. I don't know. I think it's great. I am way more interested in Wolfenstein now than I've ever been. Like, I'm gonna buy this game now because
more than ever.
Yeah, just knowing that it makes anyone who sympathizes with these idiots even just slightly upset, it makes me want to buy this. So there you go. There you go.
Yeah, that's kind of funny.
It's just funny, like, yeah, the Twitter comments are perfect. Buddy, what do you think Wolfenstein is about? Like, that's we've been killing Nazis in Wolfenstein since the early '90s. Like, I don't know what they thought.
Surprise!
Yeah, big old surprise. That's all I had for news. Did you guys see anything cross your plates this week that tickled your fancy?
No, it's been kind of a quiet week.
Yeah.
We got anything else big happening next week as far as releases goes?
You're getting Shadow of War.
I'm getting the Shadow of War. Yep.
Yeah, I'll be playing Shadow of War, one way or the other.
Yeah, you can play it on the off hours that aren't, between like 1 a.m. and 5 a.m. So most of the hours, the hours most other people use to do things like play video games, that I don't.
Yeah, Shadow of War is going to be our love child. We'll just pass it off at the end of the day.
We'll co-parent it, yeah.
That Steam family sharing is really working out, as far as our schedules go.
Yeah, I don't know how much.
Yeah, when they don't just disappear.
Like,
You've played a lot of Hollow Knight, and I've been none the wiser.
Yeah. Yep. If you got friends in different time zones or just have people with different, work schedules and stuff, highly recommend you look into Steam family sharing because, man, you can play a lot of PC games that you don't own that way. And it's legal. Yay, friends. You got to trust them, though, because you're giving away passwords and stuff. So don't do that. Don't just do that with anyone, Just, make sure it's somebody that you trust.
Make sure it's friends and family.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. We're not abusing anything. We're doing this the right way. If Brian has to sign some adoption papers to make this all, kosher, I'm okay with it.
Done.
Brian, adopt us, please.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get into. Excuse me. I don't even think I have a bumper for this anymore. Hold on. We're gonna get into an email that came in from a listener. Hey yo. I don't have music for it, so there you go.
See, and the funny thing is, we never get to hear the music anyway, so we don't know if you're playing music now or
there's
not.
There's music here. It's great. It's a great music, and just pretend it sounds like that.
I can picture it.
And there you go. So this email comes into us from Rachel. She says, I was listening to your latest podcast and was intrigued by Cuphead because the storyline resembles a book I recently read. It's called Johann's Cabal, the Necromancer by Jonathan L. Howard. If you're looking for an interesting book series, I've read a couple from this author and really like it. Best regards, Rachel. First of all, thank you for writing into the show, Rachel. We really appreciate it. And second of all, that book sounds rad. Johann's Cabal is a real cool name for a necromancer, and I would totally read a book about that. I don't know if it's just like the whole having to get contracts for the devil part. I'm guessing that has something to do with the Cuphead, because
Cuphead story's pretty thin. You've about wrapped it up there.
Yeah. I can't imagine that the rest of Johann's Cabal, the Necromancer, is about anthropomorphic cup that has a brother named Mughead that go around shooting people with their zappy fingers.
Yeah, but, you gamble with the devil and lose, and then you have to go out and collect souls to pay off your debt.
Yeah, so
typical.
Maybe some of that.
Typical devil.
It got me thinking though. Like, have you guys ever played a game that has reminded you of book series that you really like, or vice versa? Have you ever been like really into a series of books and been like, man, I wish there was a game for this, or found that there is and checked it out?
I got a couple of close calls there, not quite, but
quite nail on the head.
Planescape Torment is one of my favorite video games ever.
Okay.
And that inspired me to look into the Planescape D&D setting, and like we played a Planescape D&D campaign, and I have a bunch of books and stuff for that.
Gotcha. So the game came first in that regard and pushed you into
the
other.
Yep, I want to learn more about this world.
What about you, Luke?
Yeah, so there's been a few. way back in the day when I got my first PC, I had a demo for Return to Krondor, which was a RPG,
Okay.
and it was the second in a series, and that was actually based on a book by Raymond E. Feist. I went back and read those books, and they were fantastic. So there's tons of those.
Feist, not the singer, not the Canadian pop artist.
I don't know a Canadian singer by that name, Tyler.
Yeah, I don't know who that is.
I don't
and I'm
listen to the
comfortable with
worst
that.
music at work.
Look, it's not by choice. Okay, I
Do
have
I-
the radio bombardment.
Do I know who
with-
this is?
You probably
Tyler?
do. It's
Belt it out.
Oh, I don't know any songs like right off the rip,
Yeah.
but I'm just saying.
Yeah, Tyler, play that
Feist is-
song.
Yeah,
Fuck you.
you know the one.
The one that makes me go all night long. Oh my god.
The other
Every day
one
we drift
is
further from
This
the
is
light.
this is just that's you just triggered me so hard.
well, the other one is R.A. Salvatore, that writes a lot of Forgotten Realms books
I'm
for
not
D&D,
just-
and so those are all in the same universe.
That's cool. I'm not just like staring off to
Yeah,
my
what
right
are
for
you
no reason.
doing?
I'm looking at my books. I thought I had an R.A. Salvatore book that I've never read, and I don't see it, so I guess not.
I
You know what I did
Oh.
find though? It's Brian's Winter, guys. It's Brian's Winter right there, which brings me
Brian's
to that
son.
point. I would play a Brian's Winter game tomorrow if they released it. It's basically called Rust. I don't think there was many dongs in Brian's Winter though. But yeah.
One of my favorite board games is called God's Playground, and that made me seek out the book by the same name. That's about the history of Poland,
Okay.
Oh,
the political upheaval, and Poland's been fucked over by all its neighbors many, many times throughout the centuries.
Just the world's doormat, Poland. I'm looking at my bookshelf here, and I was thinking about different books, and I'm reminded that they tried to make a Dante's Inferno game, and I have vague memories of this. Did you guys remember this? It happened.
I
It's a
remember
real
all
thing. Like this was
badness.
probably I think it was basically like a. I think it was like a God of War clone, basically. If I'm remembering.
There are some things that are very hard to distill into a video game.
Dante's Inferno is an Xbox 360 game. Got a 7.5 out of 10.
that's not bad.
I've seen a lot worse.
Oh, this is what you wanted.
Yeah.
Recommended by Questlog.
There you go. It was made by EA and
Sponsor us, EA.
Visceral Games, who are also responsible for a thing that I'll tell you about once I click it and find out what else they've made. They've done some Star Wars, some Battlefield, Dead Space, you know. So they've done some.
Okay,
They've done some
respectable.
games. They've done some games.
Respectable.
Yeah,
I played a little
I don't know.
Dead Space once upon a time.
yeah. I think I own some of those games. They scared the living poop out of
It was
me, and
scary,
so
yeah.
put them away because I ain't about that life.
Dark spaceships and flickering lights and shit jumping out at you.
A bunch of head
I don't
crab
got time for
looking
that.
bad things trying to eat your face. I don't like it.
Yeah, no thank you.
I'm not a fan. I'm a big wimp though, so there you go. You play any more Golf Story, Brian? I just remembered that Golf Story. I didn't bring that up.
I did. That's kind of become my lunch break game at work. It's excellent for that.
I just randomly threw that in there. Golf Story. Here it comes.
I know Kring finished it
Oh, okay.
this week. I don't know how long his time count was. I heard like 17 hours. Someone on the internet said.
Okay.
I am just in love with the way on the Switch I can play a game, leave it for a few days, and then I come back and turn it on, and it's just right back exactly where I left off. There's no menus or load screens. It's
Yeah, we've mentioned it a few times, and it's still
Yeah.
just an awesome feature. Can't get over that.
We did bring that up. If we were talking about like why isn't it just like that on your PC? It kind of is. Like if you just leave your PC on and lock it and don't let it go to sleep, it's pretty much the same thing. I think I had that happen with Hollow Knight once, but it is different. There's a different like
It's,
going and
it's still
grabbing your
running.
Switch.
It's not
and-
really in sleep mode.
Right, I know. But man, I mean, the battery life on the Switch is really great too. There's been times where I've left it for like a week just not charging, and I go and pick it up, and it's still got like 33%, and play a game for a while, and then I'm like, okay, well, I'll charge it up, I guess, now. And it uses hardly any power when it's asleep.
Yeah,
Pretty impressive.
I'd forgotten. Like I said, I took a few days off of playing it, and then when I turned it back on, I was at a point where it's nighttime, and I'm standing on top of the food truck hitting golf balls at skeletons, slaying the undead with my golf balls. That should let you know the tone of Golf Story pretty well.
That's good. That seems about right.
It's fun.
Seems about right. That's cool. Well, I think we're getting to that time where it's like the Switch it's got a lot of options. This is a good month for Nintendo Switch owners. There's a little something for everybody out there. And
who knows? Maybe Hollow Knight will drop this week, Tyler, on the Switch.
God, that would be just total chaos, wouldn't it? I wouldn't know what to do.
Yes, it would.
It would be. I don't know what it would be like. I'd be upset about that. I think. And that's a weird feeling to have. I shouldn't feel that way. I was.
You want to finish it on Steam and then forget about it for a couple of months.
That's what Yeah, it's kind of what I want. Why are you telling me this? Why are you putting? Brian's like a goddamn devil. He's over here whispering thoughts into my head, planting little seeds.
I want you to be happy, Tyler.
Look, I am happy. You know what? I'm gonna probably play a lot more Hollow Knight tonight, and then probably play some more. What's that game? Stardew Valley tomorrow, and then on Tuesday I might need to call in because Shadow of War is coming. So
spoilers.
It feels weird to be excited about games. I haven't had that in a while. Like to be like
new games.
New games, yeah, brand new games. I've been playing a lot of old stuff this year.
Yeah, we were talking about that. You were going over stuff for Game of the Year talks, and you're like, it's pretty thin crop this year.
Yeah,
some good stuff, but
right, the things that I've played, and this is kind of how I am. I find a game and I just play the shit out of it. I get really in love with it, and that's my thing for a good long while. So the things I have played that are new this year, I feel pretty strongly about most of them. So yeah, it'll make for some interesting discussion come December times.
Yeah, I have to go through and look at all the games I played this year.
Well,
a few that stick out, and
yeah, I'm a big
similar
slut.
boat with Tyler.
Yeah, Brian's definitely our game slut.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which is good. I like being able to have lots of stuff to talk about. That's not just, me playing Diablo 3 every single week and coming here to tell you guys that.
Showing you guys all kind of games you'd otherwise never ever see or think about.
Yep.
For what it's worth.
It'll be interesting.
Well, you did bring me Wolf Among Us.
Yeah.
That was a fantastic experience.
Yeah.
Every now and again I hit one.
Hollow Knight, that's another one. That was pioneered by Brian. I don't think we probably would have given that a shot if you hadn't checked that out. So
another game that does not have borderless window mode.
Yeah.
Seeing a theme here, Brian.
Let's knock a point off the review score.
Yep. Sorry, Hollow Knight. The best you can do is a 9 because I've got that borderless window. Well, with that, I think it's about time for us to get up on out of here. Join us next week, won't you? We record this on Saturdays. It's a place you can come and hang out in the chat, say hello, let us know what's up. You can email the show. You can do that at mail@questlogcast.com. Be like Rachel, send us something. We'll talk about it for a little bit, and it'll be a lot of fun. Find the show right at questlogcast.com, won't you? You're able to get show notes there. You can stream the thing right from SoundCloud. You can watch the YouTube version.
Stream the shit out of it.
Just stream it like you've never streamed anything before. Stream it like it really deserves it.
Like you mean it.
Really asking for it.
Really get in there to get some work done.
Yeah. All the bits, all the bytes. Just get them.
Coming at you. Hi-fi.
I mean, of course you can always find it on iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Google Play Music, wherever podcasts are served. And, that's all I really got. Thanks to Visager for making cool music for me to play over all this stuff and being cool.
This just in, I found a video of Cuphead played on a black and white CRT. Looks pretty awesome.
You know what? Just tune in next week and I'll have footage of that. Oh, by the way, I hear that like the ultra hard mode turns everything black and white for you, and like that's how you know you're in the hard mode in the game. So Anyway, sorry. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye. Thanks for coming. We'll see you,
Goodbye.
see you next time.
Catch you next week.